Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Beautiful afternoon, so try and move things along. Nice to see some new faces in our council chambers. Appreciate everyone coming. Sorry we're a little bit late getting started. Most of the time we're waiting on the clock. Very fun. So today, so we've got a resolution. Already got proposed. Make sure I got I gotta get this mic up here.
Thank you.
I'd appreciate anybody talking would speak into the mic. Get a lot of angry ratepayers when they can't hear our session. So I'm not sure if I should start again, but I'd like to welcome everyone here today. I had my mic down there, so we'll move right along. Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, second by Councillor Gunson, that the council receives the closed session report regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual, including employees of community service. Further, that the council approves the confidential direction given to staff. All in favor of the motion? It's carried. Thank you. So, couple of sets of minutes here, moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Zimmerman. The minutes of the town of Minto, February 4th, 2025 closed session meeting and April 18th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved. Any discussion on any of that? Those two? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Resolution moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the town of Minto Council convene into the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor of that motion? Carried. Thank you. So today we have one public hearing. It's MV 2025-03, has to do with 167 Margaret Street South, and it's the Harris property. I will call the meeting to order. Public hearing and state that any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. So I'd like to state as well, the public hearing is to consider a minor variance application, MV 2025-03, Robert Harris. And I'll ask our Secretary Treasurer McRobb to give us some direction.
Thank you very much. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Lot 7, Part Lot 8, and has been municipally known as 167 Margaret Street South in Harriston in the town of Minto. The subject property is approximately 248.5 meters square. The purpose and effect of the minor variance application is to seek relief from the required exterior yard setback, proposed 3 meters where 6 meters is required, as well as a maximum lot coverage of 45%, whereas the permitted lot coverage is 40%. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on April 14th, 2025, and posted on the subject property on April 14th, 2025. Reports and comments were received and were attached for council to review from both the town of Minto and from Wellington County. I can advise that we had no speakers registered to participate in this public meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary Treasurer McRobb. Going to ask the town of Minto's planning coordinator, Sama Haghai, to provide some comments. Please.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Anneli mentioned, the application pertains to a property located at 167 Margaret Street South, Harriston, owned by Robert Harris. The applicant is proposing to construct a 1,500 square feet, one-story single detached dwelling. The land is zone R1B, low density residential, which permits one single detached residential dwelling unit with a minimum exterior side yard setback of 6 meters or 19.7 feet, and a maximum lot coverage of 40%. However, the proposal includes a reduction in the exterior side yard setback to 3 meter or 9.8 feet, and an increase in maximum lot coverage to 45%. The property currently has a two-story building and shed, which will be demolished to make space for the new house. It should also be noted that the property owner has submitted a severance application to divide the land into two separate parcels that I will bring the report for the next council meeting. The application has been circulated to our relevant agencies, including Source Water Protection, Minto and Valley Conservation Authority, local propane distributor, and the County of Wellington. And also the property owners within 60 meter or 200 feet of the subject property with no concern has been raised. Town of Minto's staff evaluate a request for a reduction in the exterior side yard setback on a case-by-case basis. In this case, staff assessed the distance from the property line to the physical edge of the road, also considering the potential for a future sidewalk, and are satisfied that the sufficient side yard and boulevard space remain for landscaping and snow storage. As such, staff have no concern with the requested relief, provided the condition that no additional encroachment are permitted within the exterior side yard as a part of the minor variance approval. Town staff also support the application as it meets the four tests of minor variance under the Planning Act. The proposal is considered minor in nature and maintains the general intent of both the zoning bylaw and the official plan. If they come to have any question for me, I would be happy to provide my answer.
Thank you, Sama. We'll just hold the questions for a second. The second report that we have today here that everyone has had a chance to look at is the one from the county. And it's pretty straightforward. They have no concerns in reference to the application. So, moving along here, we have the owner applicant. Any comments that you want to provide for us, Mr. Robert Harris? Absolutely. State your name and speak into the mic, please.
Okay, good afternoon. Everybody hear me? So what I'm proposing is not out of the normal. There's an old two-story house there now, so I'm going to split the lot. So the inner house will be on a 50-foot lot, and the corner house, I hope to put a double garage there. So I'm asking for the minor variance. Instead of 20 feet would automatically cut back to 10 feet. I'm asking for an additional 5 feet, just so I have room to play with the house. And it's not, for everybody's knowledge, it's not unheard of. Last week in the Wellington Advertiser at Wellington North passed one inbound Forest and one in Arthur just to try and keep development moving. So, and other than that, that's what I'm asking for. And I hope to build 2 respectable residential houses. In the last 4 years, I built 9 in Hairston and brought 9 new families. So I'm not asking for the world. I'm asking for an extra 5 feet. Thank you.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much. Anybody else who want to speak to the application? Go ahead, Director CBO Terry Pipers.
Thank you, Chair Turton. With the approval decision, I did notice that the conditions that Sama listed are not included in, you've got that? Okay, sorry. That was, I just wanted to make sure they were included. Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so questions from our committee. Go ahead, Councillor Potnowitz. So I don't know who you're directing it to, but I know Terry has a mic. We'll get Bob to move back to the mic if the question's directed to him. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, through you all, Mayor. I guess the first question is the garages that you were referring to, are they going to be on the exterior side of the
We haven't seen a layout for it, but one of the conditions that we are including on the approval decision, if that's the wish of the committee, is that the 3 meter exterior side yard setback would only apply to the face of the house and not to the garage. One of the concerns that we had, if the house runs the long way, so the front door faces Pellister Street opposed to Margaret, then from the face of the garage to the property line would only be 3 meters, not sufficient enough for a car. So one of the conditions we added was that the 3 meters, staff is acceptable to it, to the house alone, not to the garage.
That was confusing to me. I was glad you explained that. So you could turn that house the opposite way and then you wouldn't have enough room for driveway.
That's correct. Any vehicle, regardless of how small it is, would be hanging on the boulevard, which is something that we're wanting to avoid.
I don't have a concern with the 3 meter setback. I think that's appropriate. The site triangles, I'm assuming were looked at.
There's no relief being sought for that, so at building permit stage, we'll confirm that the site triangles are maintained.
Your questions were answered? Anything to add, Robert Harris? No? Other questions? So the only comment that I have is, it'll be, with the approvals, everybody's happy with what Bob's proposing. It'll be nice to see a couple of new houses there and certainly an opportunity to keep our housing industry moving. Well, I know that it's not easy to watch a big, beautiful double brick house be taken down, but that's progress. So, okay, so, Bob, do you have any rebuttal or anything to add?
No,
All right, so I'm going to ask Secretary Treasurer McNaught.
I'm not saying I'm gonna build right
Uh,
to
so,
the line. I just
Bob?
want to have a bit of-
Yep.
I guess
Yeah, go to the mic if you don't mind.
I'm not saying I'm going to build right to the line. I just want to hit a bit of play that, and I'll still be from the edge of the road. I'll still be 25, 28 feet, which for a side yard to me, I think that's quite acceptable.
So is it your plan then?
That's on Pallister Street
Yep.
and the houses will both face Margaret.
Okay.
So there'd be no steps or no anything on the side of the house.
All right. Thank you very much. So we have, looks like we will approve this.
I
Annalene,
will,
do you
I will
want to-
provide the committee with a
Okay,
resolution to consider. Upon a resolution being carried or defeated, the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment is to be signed by all members of the Committee of Adjustment in favor of the decision. I will have that to be signed right after the meeting, so please make sure you stay to sign that. The motion is that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Robert Harris for the property legally described as Lot 7 and part of Lot 8, municipally known as 167 Margaret Street South, Harriston, in the Town of Minto, seeking relief from clauses 10.2.5 and 10.2.8 to permit a minimum exterior side yard of 3 meters and a maximum lot coverage of 45% with the following conditions. No encroachments, including decks, porches, balconies, or steps, shall be permitted within the exterior side yard, and the reduced exterior side yard setback shall not apply to the garage. That is the motion and before you.
so I need a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Gunson, Councillor Elliott, thank you. That's fairly clear. Robert, you understand? Hold on, we haven't passed the motion yet. You understand what I'm asking is okay, you understand the motion. Okay, so I'm gonna call the question. All in favor of this motion? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. I'll state that anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment in respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89 Hairston, NOG 1Z0, or by email at town.minto.on.ca. And did you sign in? Do we need him to sign in?
There is a form at the back to be signed.
Okay. I'm going to adjourn the public meeting. So thank you very much. we're going to move along here. I've got a resolution moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Potnovitz at the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment convene into Committee of the Whole. All in favor of that motion? Carried. Thank you very much. We have no public meetings today, but we do have a delegation. And friend Tanya Robertson is going to step up tonight. We're going to talk about the mayor's golf tournament groups.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, Tanya. Good afternoon.
Through you, Mayor Turton. We are well on our way with planning of the 15th Annual Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament that is being held on Thursday, August 7th at Pike Lake Golf and Country Club. The committee came to council in February announcing that application intake was open, and I am pleased to introduce to you today the local organizations that will be receiving funds from this year's tournament. Minto United Soccer, Minto Minor Baseball, and Minto Fire Wellness Committee. Each organization has a representative here today to tell you a little bit about their organization and what they plan to use their funds for.
So, Mr. Jeff Klemp, if you don't mind stating your name and
Perfect.
speak into the mic.
Hello, my name's Jeff Klemp. I'm with Minto United Soccer Organization. I'm the treasurer. Really, as it says in the title, but we have all three locations in towns inside Minto, so Palmerston, Clifford, and Hairston. We provide kitty kickers for, and we also provide soccer for ages, hopefully we get to up to U18, but from U6 to U12 this year, or sorry, U14 this year. So we have a fairly lengthy and breadth of people that want to play soccer in our organization. So that's what we do, and that's what we want to continue to provide. And so the hope is that we can use these funds to both continue to keep costs low for our organization, as well as equipment for what you need for soccer. So for balls, not baseballs. That's the next one's coming up. So soccer balls, first aid equipment, and just any training equipment that we need deemed necessary for the different age groups.
Any no questions for Mr. Klemp? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jeff. Does that mean Mike's next?
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Mike Wilson, the president of Minto Minor Ball. As Jeff said, we have similar values in that we aim to make softball accessible and affordable for everyone. So we're hoping to use the proceeds from this year's Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament to help keep our registration fees low. In the past 2 years, as Councilor Elliott could probably attest to, we've seen our organization double in size in terms of players, from 4 teams up to 9 teams this year and 2 nights of T-ball. So it's grown a little quicker than we thought it would. So, with that comes growing pains such as having to buy new equipment. So we're hoping to use some of these funds as well to help offset those costs. And same with umpires. You need umpires for every game, and when you have 9 teams, it adds up quickly. So thank you for selecting our organization, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mike? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Police? Mental wellness.
Good afternoon, Council. Khalees Los, I work for the fire department. So basically what we're looking to use the funds from the Mayor's Golf Tournament for is to finish developing our PTSD app for firefighters. So we received a grant from Troya Mutual in the fall of last year to begin developing an app for our firefighters to be able to access resources related to wellness and PTSD. And the funds from the golf tournament will continue that work. So.
Thank you. Is there questions for police? Okay, well, thank you very much. Tanya?
That's it for today. We're 97% full for the tournament. So if you were hoping to get a team in, today's your day.
Yeah, Tanya, so on behalf of myself and our counselors, this mayor's tournament's been going on for quite a number of years, and And our staff basically does all the organizing. Some of us get to stand up and thank people and look pretty. A tough time doing that, but I just want to thank you again for, and I'm talking about myself in particular. I'm not talking about our council is having a tough time doing that, but congratulations to you folks for being accepted into this. I know that our whole community is, especially minor sports, are, and a lot of other things are based around volunteers. And your organizations run because of folks like yourselves that step up and take the reins. So thank you on behalf of all of us for doing that. Other than that, I have one other thing. We have a young person in our midst that has progressed along the way, and I'm just going to read this. The AMCTO Executive Diploma in Municipal Management, which is the EDMM, is a comprehensive 10-month career development program designed specifically for municipal managers. It provides the foundational knowledge, skills, and competencies required to be a successful local government manager. On behalf of our council, I would like to congratulate Deputy Treasurer Tanya Robertson on receiving her diploma in municipal management this year.
Thank you.
I'm sure, Tanya, you have your diploma in your office. If you don't,
I think it's at home still.
but congratulations. Thank you very much for stepping up and doing that and moving yourself ahead. I mean, that's what it's all about. So thank you very much. And good luck at the mayor's golf charity. Someday maybe you'll have to golf it.
Thank you.
So thank you. And if you folks want to stay, you can. If you don't, I'll take a moment and allow you to leave. But we are dealing with some very exciting stuff. Thanks for coming. So we're moving into public question period. And the mayor, as chair of this meeting, has a duty to preserve order and maintain decorum throughout the meeting. Although council strives to hear and be responsive to residents' concerns in order to preserve order, maintain decorum, and comply with the town's procedural bylaw, I wish to caution any participants in question period that questions that use discourteous language will not be permitted. Questions that seek policies or bylaws outside the town's jurisdiction, including policies or bylaws that might violate human rights legislation, will not be permitted. Anything that constitutes speeches or statements not in the formal question will not be permitted, and repeat questions will not be permitted, including the repetition of questions from prior meetings, and all persons shall be limited to no more than 2 questions. Saying all that, any questions, step to the mic. Okay, hearing none, then we're going to move into correspondence. Got a motion by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Zimmerman. The council receives correspondence as information. We have quite a number of items on the correspondence today from the strong mayor powers. We have one in reference to salt management. The newsletter from Mapleton Seniors is always well received. One on exotic wild animals. And I think we have a report from the Minto, Mapleton, Wellington North Tri-Fire Services for the first quarter. And then heavy vehicles in Ontario. And a notice for the OPA number 126 for the County of Wellington. That's been approved by the county. And then it moves on to the next step, which is the province. So is there any items here that we want to talk about, bring forward? Go ahead, Councillor Dirks.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. I have a question for our Deputy Director of Fire Services, please, on the first quarter report.
Go ahead.
I don't, maybe this is silly, but so MFD, I think, means Minto Fire WNFS means Wellington North Fire Services. And I know MFR is Mapleton. What does that acronym mean, actually? Rescue. Ah, okay, thank you. I may have to ask that again, but that was driving me crazy. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Anderson, go ahead.
Sorry. I don't know if we want to do anything about all the letters about the strong mayor powers. I know we have a report later, but I don't know if it's appropriate from the report, but I would, if we're not going to do anything with the report, I would suggest that we send a letter as well expressing, in my opinion, our dismay over that motion from, or ruling from the province. It undermines, as I said previously, the way we work together, the way we work together with our staff. It basically says that you're not doing the job that you need to be doing, and I disagree strongly with that thought.
Okay, other thoughts? Go ahead, Councillor Zimmerman.
Well, I'm just wondering, the County of Wellington report on the OPA, I'm just wondering if we could have our building official give us a little details on how that might affect Minto.
So in short, really there's no effect on Minto at all. Predominantly, there's a couple of urban boundary expansions in center Wellington. The only thing that it does include Minto is our growth projections. So over the next, I believe it goes up to 50 years, we're going to grow by X number of units per year. So it's just kind of updating what's already in our official plan. So other than that, no impact to us.
Thank you.
Other question? Councillor Dirks, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. And so this is back to the strong mayor powers. So I don't know whether it's appropriate to talk about that now or later either, but so which do you want to do?
Okay, so I'll ask.
It's actually, I guess my thought is it's not about correspondence, so I can save it. Now
Okay,
that I've
good.
talked that through myself, thank you.
So, the motion is to receive the correspondence, but as we normally do, if
Yes.
there's one that we want to take out and discuss, we do that. Can you help us, CAO Burton?
Through Mayor Turton, I would suggest that we wait for questions when the report comes, and then we can have a fulsome discussion about it. We may not have all the answers, but we will do our best.
Other thoughts? Are you okay with leaving it, talking about it later? All right, I'm going to call the question on correspondence. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. So reports of committees. Going to ask our Director of Economic Development, Belinda Wick-Graham, present the minutes, please.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Just a note, I noticed the top says March 20th. These minutes are actually from April 17th, and I was not present, but I will do my best to go through them. And Deputy Mayor Anderson was there, so if there's anything I can't answer, maybe she can fill in. We did have Rachel Marks, who is a relaxed performance consultant, and the executive director was Spark there, and she did a presentation on accessibility. Every month at our committee, we have a different guest speaker on a different topic. So accessibility was this month's focus. Next month, we'll be talking about youth. Also want to give a shout out to Tammy, our admin staff up front, who did an excellent job putting together our DEI social media calendar. We're able to focus on highlighting a lot of special, not events, but significant days on our social media as well as on our website. There's a more fulsome calendar there, and we're receiving really positive feedback already on that. So just wanted to thank Tammy for that. The committee was reviewing logo design, and we'll continue to look at that at the next meeting as well. Logos are never easy to get everyone to agree on, so that discussion will continue. The committee continues to work through a very ambitious action plan. They're making good headway, and that is an attachment there. And then just an update on the Clifford Community Pantry. Following this meeting, Mayor Turton and I did have a meeting with the county library, and The pantry is currently undergoing some repairs. We are having some issues with the doors. So it's being repaired, and then when it is fixed, it will be moved inside the Clifford Library Medical Clinic building in the lobby. So we'll be able to protect it from the weather elements, which have been a trouble since the beginning with the heat in the summer and the cold temperatures in the winter. So that is basically the minutes from that meeting. If there's any questions.
Questions for Linda? So I just wanted to say, Belinda, that in our discussions with the county, with Justine, very positive. I mean, what they're doing, what they're trying to do in the county. They've had 2 or 3 other pilot sites that they're doing exactly what we've asked them to do in Clifford, and they're very, very receptive. And it's great to see that project move ahead. I mean, it'll be, you know, there's every time you try to do a new project, there's always, most of the time, there's obstacles. So, I mean, those were minor, likely. So this is a good thing for Clifford, and it's possible that, you know, in other communities, it could be the same thing. So thank you for that report. So where are we here? No more questions? I'm going to call the question then. All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you. So Belinda, we'll move along to the signage grants, ACTEV 2025 under staff reports for well initiatives at 345 Minto Road, Unit 1. So go ahead.
Yeah, so this is Well Initiatives. It's a new business in the Palmerston Industrial Park. Not new to us. They do our well exploration projects. So we're really happy to have them as a member of the industrial park, and they are looking at installing a really nice sign here. As you can see, it is an expensive sign, over $6,500, so it does qualify for the maximum $1,000 grant. So this was voted on electronically by the ACTEV committee because they don't meet till June, and supported. So that is that. And I will note that their grand opening is going to be May 30th. So if you're out and about and want to stop in, they're planning on having food. So please RSVP to that invitation.
So we have a recommendation moved by Councillor Potnovitz, second by Councillor Dirksen, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report ACTEV 2025-008. It's the signage grant P29 Well Initiatives Limited, 345 Minto Road, Unit 1, Palmerston, prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Services for information purposes. And further, that the Council of the Town of Minto approve the requested signage grant P29 for $1,000. Questions for Belinda? I know one of the owners was at the mayor's breakfast. It was, I forget the chap's name, and I apologize for that. But certainly he's really pleased and thankful that they found a home in Minto, and quite impressed with our staff. We're working with them and getting the building up, and all the approvals that come with that. It's very nice to hear. So thank you, folks, for being so nice to these people that are trying to build a business in Minto. So if there's no questions, all in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Second item is signage grant, ACTEV 2025-009. It's a signage grant, P30, and a facade grant, P23, Elegant Aesthetics, 125 Main Street in Palmerston. So Belinda?
Yep.
Please present your report.
Yes, this is a cool story. A young lady by the name of Nicole Crispin, a Minto resident, went away, did her trade in aesthetics and hairstyling, and has moved back home, purchased this building, which formerly had the Dutch store. And so she is doing some work and is actually having her ribbon cutting on Friday. So it's hard to tell from the pictures, but in the facade portion is the fixing up of the window. Is in need of repair there and not repair, but replacement, and then a new sign. So this falls under both the signage grant and the facade grant. So under the signage grant, the quote was for $936.13 plus tax. We don't account for the tax portion, so she would be eligible for $468.07. And then the maximum for a facade grant is 3,000, and being the facade part of the project is 6,920. She'd be eligible for the 3,000 as well. Again, voted on electronically by the committee and supported.
The recommendation moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Zimmerman, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report ECDEB 2025-009 for a signage grant P30 and a facade grant P23 for Elegant Aesthetics, 125 Main Street, West Palmerston, prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Development for information purposes. And further that, Council of the Town of Minto approves the signage grant P30 for $468.07 and a facade grant P23 for $3,000. Questions? Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
More of a comment, Belinda, it's great to see somebody that went away and get educated. I'm sure to go away to get educated, comes back to our community, where she lived in a community, I think all her life, and start a business. And that's what we've always been waiting for or wanting to have, is people come back to our community after they go away and get educated. So it's great to see. And maybe I'll drop in and see her.
Yeah, on Friday, the ribbon cutting there is at
That's right.
9:45.
Thanks.
So anyone able to join, and welcome Nicole. And I think she's having her actual grand open day the following day. So yeah, please stop in.
So on May 30th, we're going out to lunch in Palmerston at Well Initiatives. Put that in your calendar. Right. All in favor of that motion? If there's no further questions, sorry. All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you. And I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Gunson.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. So two reports today on municipal drain improvement requests, and Ryan's here to present the reports.
Thank you, Mayor Gunson, or Mayor Gunson, sorry, Councillor Gunson.
Why, thank you.
This report addresses the request for improvements to municipal drain 12. This is located in Harrison's Industrial Park, and this request is under Section 78 of the Drainage Act. The request originates from the property owner of 180-190 John Street North, who seeks to advance their development on their site, but faces challenges due to the current configuration and condition of the municipal drain. This report outlines the request, the drain's current state, associated challenges, and potential improvements for council's consideration. Some background on municipal drain 12. It services a watershed of approximately 400 acres of mixed-use lands, including agricultural lands, road corridors, as well as industrial properties and residential properties within the town's urban boundary. The section of the drain in question includes both a tiled portion and a open ditch portion. The tiled portion dates back to its original installation in 1951. The aging infrastructure has led to some reported issues, including failing pipes causing flooding on the upstream agricultural properties. And the current location of the drain poses challenges for the future development of 180, 190 John Street North. The requested property has requested the following improvements: relocation or modification of the tiled portion of the municipal drain through their property, enclosure of a portion of the municipal drain of the open ditch. They have expressed that interest to potential investigate the optimization of their land use for their site aesthetics, and potentially upsizing of the tile. Preliminary assessments suggest that this existing tile may be undersized for the upstream watershed, potentially necessitating an upgrade to accommodate the current and future drainage needs. To address this request for improvement, a qualified drainage engineer shall conduct a detailed study to evaluate the drain's capacity, condition, and alignment, and provide recommendations that include cost estimates, landowner assessments, and timelines in accordance with Section 78 of the Drainage Act. This process requires that all affected property owners and stakeholders are notified of the process and given an opportunity to include other improvements as deemed necessary.
MVCA has been notified of this request and circulated, and they will be in close consultation throughout the process, and they will require us to obtain a permit for any improvements. The requested improvements to municipal drain 12 present an opportunity to address both the development needs of 180, 190 John Street North and the broader drainage challenges affected by the entire watershed. The initiating process will assign an engineer to assess the drain and coordinate with the MPO as they are a stakeholder in this drain. They'll also be reaching out to current developers that are in the area that also require some modernization to the drain, and this will support the economic growth and enhance drainage reliability for all the users. All costs associated to the project will be assessed out to the landowners, utilities, and road authorities in accordance with the Drainage Act. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thanks, Ryan. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, second by Councillor Potnowitz. The Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-013 Municipal Drain 12 Improvement Request prepared by the Drainage Superintendent for information purposes. And further that the Council of the Town of Minto appoints Headway Engineering to represent the town's interest in this regard. Any questions for Ryan? Mayor Turk?
Thank you, Councillor Gunson. This looks like quite a bit of spaghetti here.
Yeah. This is,
I mean, it would, most of the time, quite often, we see a single drain that is likely much easier than this. My question to you is the branch E that starts on the north side of the old railway tracks?
Yep.
That's where it starts.
That branch of this drain, yes, that's where it starts. The exact condition of that current drain is a bit unknown. Yeah, and as you see, it kind of bisects the old Leslie farm, which council may be aware that there has been in the past an old draft plan subdivision. So we're hoping that that property owner can also improve or requested an improvement to this drain to help facilitate their drainage needs. So hopefully tie it into one big project, but it's at this point, there's only one property requesting the improvement.
So, and it's downstream. So when we're pumping the water out of that basin there between on the corner of is it William and George, we're pumping right into the inlet of that branch E. Yes and no.
Yes and no, it's there. We just don't know. It's not a direct connection. We pump overland onto the farm property and it gets down into the drain, hopefully.
So basically, Ryan, what we're doing then is exploration first. It's maintenance mainly.
So this is an improvement project.
Yes.
Nothing, we could look at extending some maintenance up further if that's recommended from the engineer, but improvement is something that we can't do under maintenance under the Drainage Act, which is including relocating drains. We can't upsize drains. All we can do is replace like for like under maintenance. So that could be an option to look at for branch E as well, but.
That's terrific. I mean, when we can tie 2 or 3 different items into one, you know, and mainly it's having somebody initiate.
Exactly, yeah.
So one more dozy question. The red is a covered municipal underground drain. The blue is open ditch.
Yeah, the image isn't exactly accurate. The covered drain actually runs a little bit further to the south. It runs alongside the open ditch. I'm not sure why, but it does.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing that's has maybe some significance, we're on our annual discharge, we're utilizing that near our lagoons.
Yeah, that is the discharge for our lagoon system, and that'll be, if required, that'll be something the engineer will address throughout this process. But
perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Potnowitz.
Yes, through the chair. So that branch
drain 12, it starts at the congregation of the three branch drains, the B, C, and D, I believe. And terminates at the blue open portion. It crosses the highway. Is that a highway, that portion, or is that?
Yeah, so the actual drain 12 starts at the outlet is at the Maitland, that open ditch. It's a part of the municipal drain. And yes, there is a road crossing there. The MTO owns a culvert, an equalizing culvert that drains into the open ditch and takes the surface flows. And then the pipe system takes the water from the upstream agricultural lands. And in investigation this spring, while we noticed all the flooding up in the agricultural land, the MTO crossing it's 1951 vintage and it is in rough shape and they didn't know it exists. So it's something that needs to be replaced as well.
That was gonna be my question, is if they're gonna have to do some work on that drain under the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'm gonna call for the vote. All in favor? Thank you. Next one, municipal drain 44 improvement request. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thank you, Councillor Gunson. This one's a slightly simpler request. This report addresses the improvements to municipal drain 44 under section 78 of the Drainage Act again, and it is initiated by an agricultural property owners at part lot 26 and part lot 27, possession 16. The owners have reported significant disruptions to their agricultural operations due to the repeated failure of this aging infrastructure. This report outlines the request, the current state of the drain, and the proposed improvements for council's consideration. Some background on this drain. Municipal Drain 44 was constructed or improved, I can't remember, back in 1958. And based on the engineer's report, it serves approximately 280 acres of agricultural land, including part lot 26 and part lot 27, possession 16. The drain's tile system, now over 65 years old, has suffered multiple failures necessitating frequent repairs. The most recent failure caused significant flooding, severely disrupting the agricultural operations, as you can see in the photos provided. Their request for improvement is to address the old failing tiles, potentially upsizing as the standards may be inadequate for the current drainage needs, suggesting that the tile might need upsize. And then an update to the old drainage report is also required throughout this process. We've done a lot of maintenance on this drain over the years, and the latest failure, it isn't exactly clear where the failure occurred. So, which makes maintenance pretty difficult, which is why we are looking at a more long-term fix right now. The SVCA has been notified of this request, and they will require consultation, and they will also require a permit. The Drainage Act requires that municipalities receive and review these Drainage Act requests. And in this scenario, staff recommends that we follow the procedures outlined in the Drainage Act for improvement under section 78. And all costs associated with this project will be assessed to the landowners, including utilities, road authorities, and in accordance with the Drainage Act. So any questions on this one, please let me know.
Thanks, Ryan. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman, second by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-014, municipal drain 44 improvement request prepared by the Drainage Superintendent for information purposes. Further, that the Council of the Town of Minto appoints Streamline Engineering to represent the town's interest in this regard. Any questions for Ryan? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor? It's passed. Thank you. I'm going to pass the chair back to Mayor Turton.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gunson. Next on the agenda is CL 2025-007, appointment of, appointing a CAO as deputy clerk, bylaw officer. I'm gonna ask, our Clerk Annaleen McRobb to present the report.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. It's a pretty short and sweet report. That's just to let you know that it is good business practice to have additional staff appointed as deputy clerk, just to cover off for any statutory requirements in the absence of myself or our current deputy clerk, Quinn. And we just want to make sure that we're covered for anything that may come up. It's very logical for the CAO to do that. He already attends meetings regularly, and he understands the protocols and processes that we already use. The same thing goes for the appointment of a municipal bylaw officer. Again, we want to make sure we have coverage if required. And CEO Fertney has been a provincial offences officer before while working with the Conservation Authority. And so once appointed, again, can provide coverage, again, only if required.
Thank you, Annaleen. So I've got a recommendation moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, Council of the Town of Minto. Hereby receives report CL 2025-007, appointing CAO as deputy clerk and bylaw officer, prepared by the Director of Legislative Services, clerk for information purposes. And further, that the Town of Minto considers bylaws for both appointments in open session. Questions? Did you have a gun as a offensive or a provincial offense officer?
So, but I had a big stick and handcuffs.
No wonder your wife and kids are afraid of you. All in favor of this motion? That's carried. I don't know that. Sure. Next item on the agenda is CL 2025-008 is Strong Mayor Powers, and I'll ask our clerk, Annaleen McRobb, to present. Please.
Thank you very much. The background is on April 9th. We were told that the Ontario government announced a proposal to expand the Strong Mayor powers to the heads of council in an additional 169 municipalities effective May 1st. Of course, we are beyond the date of May 1st, and those powers have come to us. Just to let you know that these powers fall into three broad categories, being legislative, administrative, and financial. And speaking with Mayor Turton, he indicated that he is committed in the current administrative practices as approved by council, and that they will be maintained. The mayor had notified me also, and as of May 2nd, he made delegations, as shown in the report. The power to establish prescribed committees and assign their functions will be delegated to council. The power to appoint chairs and vice chairs of prescribed committees will be delegated to council. The power to appoint the CAO will be delegated to council. The power to hire and dismiss staff will be delegated to the CAO. And the responsibility for the town's organizational structure will be delegated to the CAO. He has also signed a directive regarding the financial powers forfeiting the preparation of the budget, which is owed to the mayor through the new OREGs, and he has directed that the CAO and the treasurer do that. So these decisions and directives are now posted on our webpage. You can see them there. So we'll go through our PowerPoint presentation. Let me just get here to the first. Just to let you know, this presentation is not going to discuss the merits of the Strong Mayor powers. What I'm presenting to you is what myself as staff and other staff know of the Strong Mayor powers, and to kind of present a high overview of this. And again, the Act does not allow a municipality to opt out of the Strong Mayor powers. Even if the Strong Mayor powers are never used, there are processes that must align to the new rules that we have. So on the next page is the background. As you can see, there were Bill 3 that received a royal assent, and it added special powers and duties to council to the Municipal Act. There's also Ontario Regulation 53022, which was amended May 1st, expanding the Strong Mayor powers to the additional, now it is 170 municipalities, is what our letter stated. So again, on April 9th, we were provided with the letter stating that the amendment was being considered, and now it's been received to expanding it to 170 municipalities, including the town of Minto. And the categories, I touched on this earlier: legislative, administrative, and financial. Again, the mayor cannot delegate the legislative powers. The mayor can delegate the administrative powers, and the mayor can forfeit financial powers. And we'll get into that a little bit further. The deputy mayor, though, cannot exercise mayoral decisions. So, for instance, if Mayor Turton was away and Deputy Mayor Jean Anderson stepped in, those powers do not transfer from the mayor to the deputy mayor. They do stay with the head of council. Sorry, Jean.
That's quite all right.
Just a quick review of legislation, OREG 58022. That states what our provincial priorities that are set by the province are. And it's about building homes, 1.5 million new residential units by December 31st, 2031, and constructing and maintaining infrastructure to support housing, which includes transit, roads, utilities, and servicing. So this is discussed later on through the act, as you know, what the provincial priorities are and how the mayor should act in regards to provincial priorities. As noted earlier, the mayor cannot delegate the legislative powers. The legislative powers allow the mayor to bring matters to council that they feel may advance the earlier noted priorities. So legislative powers, veto powers. So it allows them to veto bylaws if they feel they could interfere with, again, a prescribed provincial priority, which I had explained back what those priorities were. And then next page. There's a bit of a process with the veto powers to be followed, and they're described in the next two slides. Council approves a bylaw with a simple majority. The mayor has 48 hours to approve the bylaw, veto the bylaw, or indicate an intention to consider vetoing the bylaw. If you get an intention to consider vetoing the bylaw, the mayor then has up to 14 days from the original date to issue a veto. And if the mayor vetoes a bylaw, the bylaw is immediately deemed to have not been passed by council. But on the next page, we'll see there is an opportunity for council to override the mayor's veto with a 2/3 vote within 21 days. So again, there's some work going on behind the scenes here with staff to get our heads around all these rules and regulations. And we'll continue to do that and bring more information to you. On the next page is the legislative powers to propose bylaws. So the mayor may introduce a bylaw. So this is the opportunity for the mayor to propose a bylaw for council's consideration that could potentially advance a prescribed provincial priority. If we look at the next page, there's a bit of a process there with it as well. Again, the mayor introduces it, and the bylaw would require more than 1/3 vote of the members to pass it. And the mayor is also able to vote on that bylaw. Next page is legislative powers consideration. The mayor can bring forward to council for consideration if they are the opinion that considering the matter could potentially advance provincial priority under OREG 58022. Rules and regarding notices and public consultation still must be exercised. And then regarding committees, the mayor can create new committees of council made under the Municipal Act where members are all members of council and assign their function. Next page. Staff and organizational structure. The can choose to appoint their municipality's CAO. So that can be delegated to council, which the mayor has already done. And to establish the organization structure, which can be delegated, and he has delegated it to the CAO. Direction to municipal employees. So to undertake research, provide advice, carry out duties related to the strong mayor powers in regards to the Municipal Act. And in practice, this means the mayor can direct staff with regards to any authority or power granted to the mayor as part of Bill 3, Strong Mayor's Building Act. Administrative powers, statutory officers. The mayor can hire or dismiss certain division heads. And again, he has given this over to the CAO, excluding statutory positions. So with these powers, There are positions that are excluded from this power, which is the clerk and deputy clerk, treasurer or deputy treasurer, chief building official, and the fire chief. Again, when any changes are made to organizational structure, they are subject to legal requirements included in any terms and conditions of collective agreements. Financial powers for the budget. So the mayor is assigned the powers and duties with respect to proposing and adopting a budget. The mayor may exercise this authority by issuing a mayoral direction to town staff to prepare the budget, which Mayor Turton has done already. There is a long process that goes with this. Again, the mayor has signed a directive for our CAO and treasurer to prepare the 2026 budget, following the normal practices and keeping the dates for the budget meetings as were previously set by council. Now, the mayor and council can shorten their review and veto periods as well. So as you can see, there's about 5 different steps within this, and there are certainly different review periods. I won't go over each step, but just be aware that, both council and the mayor can shorten their review times and veto times. And hopefully the budget can move along at a good pace. So next one is mayoral decisions and directions. So as noted, the mayor has signed decisions regarding legislative powers, putting them back in the hands of the CAO and council, and signed a directive for the budget. Only the decisions are required to be made public. But in speaking with Mayor Turton, directions are also going to be made public for transparency and accountability. We want to make sure that, everything is above board. Next steps. So currently staff are reviewing policy implications and how this will affect us. We'll be looking at possible changes to the procedural bylaw. I had code of conduct policy on there, but as of May 1st, there was an announcement from the province that they are looking to have a province-wide code of conduct. They talked about that in 2021. So, on May 1st, Ontario is proposing changes through the Municipal Accountability Act that would enable the creation of a new standardized municipal code of conduct, integrity commission inquiry process that would be consistent throughout the province, and mandatory code of conduct training for members of council and local boards. According to AMO, legislation was promised 3 years ago, following an extensive public consultation process, and that concluded in the fall of 2021, and they're welcoming this being brought back for us as well. So again, there's other policies that we are looking at. Just to let you know as well, AMCTO is hosting strong mayor power drop-in meetings for staff on Fridays for all the new municipalities that have gained this power. So we've been attending them, and it's nice because we also get to speak to those who have already gone through this and get some background from them. So that's where we're at.
So we have a recommendation moved by Councillor Potnovich, second by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of Town of Minto hereby receives report CL 2025-008, strong mayor powers, prepared by the Director of Legislative Services, clerk for information for information purposes. So questions?
No. Where do we start?
Go ahead.
So, as everybody knows, I don't understand the purpose of this. I really do not. The province is building as quickly as they possibly can. The province should be well aware that there isn't enough funding going to smaller municipalities to substantiate their claims that this is going to improve building, because maybe they'd like to follow up with funding for infrastructure such as water and sewage. However, that thought hasn't appeared to cross their minds. I really don't understand this. I don't see the point of it. And it's taking a municipal process, a democratic process where people vote for us to represent them, and our voice is silenced virtually. Because if we propose something that the mayor doesn't like, he can veto it. It undermines all the good work you people do, bringing us those reports to make those decisions. I am unable to comprehend the benefits of this. All I see is the negativity. It's a slap in the face to the people who take the time to sit on council. And there were 588 communities last year that had a claim seats. I suspect there will be a great number more in the coming election if this is because what is the point of putting your name forward and taking the time from your family and your job to sit on council, to have your voice ignored? Just my thoughts on it. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I don't know if there's any point to those letters. The window they gave for feedback, 9 days, that's ridiculous. They clearly don't want the feedback. They're not interested because they didn't give us enough time to give them any. Several people have written letters, or communities have written letters saying they're refusing the powers. You're telling us we're not able to refuse the powers. So much for democracy. That's all I have to say.
Other thoughts? Councillor Zimmerman.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this too. I don't see how a strong mayor of power can make houses be built faster. It just baffles me. So since we have our building officials here, I don't want to put you on the spot, Terry, but can you give me any good reason why this is a good plan?
Sorry, I'm trying to
Welcome
gather my
back.
thoughts here. I'm not going to say it's positive or negative, but with the strong mayor powers, there is the potential to speed up development by passing or refusing to pass zoning bylaws and stuff like that. Again, not saying it's a good or bad idea. I don't know whether these powers grant the mayor the authority to have any control over site plan control. I don't know the answer to that. I know the province is working in behind the scenes, and I'm anticipating an announcement today or tomorrow about other methods that the province is implementing to speed up the building permit process due to other authorities being involved with it. So I don't know how or really how substantial these powers will be to speed up housing. Long answer saying not a whole lot. I apologize.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to think of a good reason for it as well and what the benefits are. And I mean, just to do the dirty work for the province, is that what this is all about? That they're not strong enough to enforce what they want to do? Give it to the local people to take the heat or something? I don't know. It's baffling.
Councillor Dirks.
Also baffled. I think here in Minto, well, first of all, this is not something we can refuse, so that's off the table. There are 3 sections, as I understand the presentation. Thanks for putting that together, Annalie. So the mayor's either delegated or waived his authority under strong mayor powers for the 2 out of the 3. So the only one we're left really to argue about is legislation or legislative powers. And all I can see so far is that they make a lot more work for staff because they have to go through the bylaws and the policies and procedures and so on and make sure that the wording all matches now. So I guess I'll say a little bit like I said last meeting. Here in Minto, I don't think this is going to be a big issue because I think that we work well together as a team, and I hope that we would continue to work well as a team. Yeah, I guess I'm at a wait and see situation. I think for this term anyways, I'm not too worried about it.
Councillor, go ahead.
I have some thoughts about this. I think maybe it came forward because the larger communities, larger cities, sometimes take months to move public divisions of housing and such like. We're here, we're such a small community that we can work together and it doesn't take months. So I believe the government is saying we want things to move faster. So if we have a subdivision we want to move forward with, we can move it quicker. I don't think it's meant for a community like ours. And as Councillor Dirksen said, we're a close community and a close council that we work together. We have a good mayor that won't abuse those strong positions, as I would believe that's the truth. Although there was a mayor in Aurelia that I think abused his situation, council has decided to hire a CEO, and he was supposed to start within a week, I believe. And he used his strong mayor powers to say, you're not getting a job, and hired who he wanted. So that would be abuse. There's a possibility of that. I don't think our community would, and our mayor would allow that. I don't think our council would put up with that kind of abuse. I believe we have to live with what we're getting. And I believe we have to trust our mayor and trust our staff and trust our council that we'll do the right things. And I don't think anything will change for us.
Other thoughts? Go ahead, Councilor.
Yes, so through you, Mayor Turk. I agree with Deputy Mayor Anderson in regards to the infrastructure. I think we missed the mark. We need funding for infrastructure if they want to build all these houses that they're proposing to build. Every time you hear reports from our public works sector, they're telling us how much capacity we have and what the upgrades that are going to be needed just to, accommodate expansion. There's no funding out there for that, and I think that's where they should have focused their attention is to provide some kind of funding for, municipalities to expand their infrastructure. That's my opinion. The mayor's not going to make any decisions or can't make any decisions to speed things up if there's no infrastructure there to accomplish that. So that's just my thought.
Other thoughts? But I imagine that particular issue in Aurelia has cost taxpayers quite a bunch of money. But I'm sure it'll come out exactly how much. If I was going to say, so the Council of Grey County, there was a podcast, not a podcast, a YouTube video that all this, so in Grey, there's 8 of the 9 lower tier governments were given strong mayor powers. So they had a group meeting. It was teams or whatever. And there was 43 people on that call, counselors. So they had a integrity commissioner and they had a lawyer assisting them. What do we do? So the first hour on that meeting, and I suggested, if you don't mind, Annalene, sending that out to everybody, it's quite educational. First hour, they tried to decide whether it should have been in camera or out of camera. And so they did have a vote. And a lot of people beforehand give their opinion on, opinion. So when they voted, it was 22 in favor of having it out of camera and 21 in favor of having it in camera. So that was an hour of discussion. So that's, anyway, I suggest that if you really want to educate yourself, it was very educational in that particular video as well. It was the Ford brothers with their business in Chicago, and that's what it was. Chicago was a little slow at development, and so the council of the day thought strong mayor powers would move construction along. So that's kind of where it came from when Rob Ford was the mayor and Doug was on council. So there's a little bit of history behind what this is, and it's very interesting to watch that. So going forward, this code of conduct, I know that FCM and AMO and OSM and Roma have been pushing for this for quite a number of years. So it's fine. It's finally making its way through. At the OSM conference last week, Minister Flack was there, and he kind of announced it. But and I think he's a reasonable. I think he's a reasonable man. But you look back to Mr. Clark, and Minister. Haven't got the last minister's name that was doing it before Mr. Flack. So it just seems like, yes. So we move into a new minister, change the minister, and then we move on to the next one, and then we move on to the next one. And so it's all about staying tuned for the next one. But yeah, I don't know what to think. I would just like to thank Annalene and Quinn and our CAO for putting this presentation together. I know I don't know how much time you've spent at it, but I'm feeling that it's considerable. The number of AMCTO meetings that you have, it's all time consuming. So I'm suggesting that we keep a running tab and maybe send a bill to Minister Flack and say, you know, this is how much time our municipality has spent on the strong mayor powers. So, where are we here? Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead first.
I just wanted to be clear. I don't have any concerns about this impact on our present council. We do a good job. And Mayor Turton has done what he can to mitigate the effects of it. My concern is the message it sends from the Ontario government to the municipalities that take care of the people that live in Ontario. And it's not a good message. They need to think about what they're doing.
Go ahead, who's next?
Well, I was just going to comment that it's possible that there may be more powers given to these municipalities who currently have strong mayor powers. And it's hard to say, maybe we will be more appreciative of, those of that legislation. So, we have to be careful that we don't bash it all the time, because maybe there's something coming that's going to be better, that we will enjoy, that will make things easier for us. Who knows?
Go
Just a
ahead.
quick comment, Mayor.
Councillor Gunson, yep.
The AMCTO report, the key data, like if you read the 46 municipalities granted strong mayor powers, like you look at the percentage, a low percentage have done anything with, right? Like if you read all those percentages, so again, it's trying to understand it, but it's like, I believe there's a lot of councils that work together really well that don't need these powers. They aren't going to use them, but it's just government hand me down, I guess.
Thank you, Councillor Gunson. Anybody else? All right, so we have, I've read the recommendation. Are we prepared to vote? All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you. So we're moving on into announcements. Councillor Dirksen, do you want to start?
Sure.
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to mention that I was at OSAM last week with three other council members. OSAM is kind of a nice little conference. It's very small and friendly. It's if you can have a conversation with someone and you can actually find them again to carry on the conversation again. Much, there's a few hundred people there as opposed to a couple thousand. So I always find OSAM to be kind of a friendly event. I participated in a great downtown walking tour of Collingwood. They have a lot of heritage preservation there, a lot of older buildings that they've really done up well. Their BIA and their council get along well, so that's kind of nice. And I guess the other difference is it's Ontario's small urban municipalities, but we're really small compared to some of them. Like Collingwood, for instance, is quite a bit larger than us, and then they have a high population of tourists as well. So, sorry,
25,000.
Is it 25,000? Yeah, I wasn't sure what the number was, so I didn't want to guess. But, anyways, yeah. So, I mean, we have challenges. Everybody has challenges, but it's great to get together and chat about them and find out you're not alone. And I'll leave the rest for other people.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen. Councillor Zimmerman.
Well, thank you, Mayor Turton. So just, this is an FYI for everyone. So this week, May 4th to 10th, is Emergency Preparedness Week. And I know we don't think about this often because nothing will ever happen to us, but, we need to encourage you to at least educate yourself on how to be prepared. And the Government of Canada has a wonderful website It's www.getprepared.gc.ca. And there's actually a fun little contest you could enter to win a free emergency kit if you're really into doing things like that. And then kind of along the same notes, tomorrow, Wednesday, May 7th, at 12:55 p.m., there's going to be an emergency alert test in Ontario. So just so that when your phone go off tomorrow, you're not going to jump out of your skin. And if there was an emergency, of course, there would be some direction of what the emergency was, what you're going to do. And then just a couple of interesting facts in that line. Last year in Ontario, there was 240 alerts sent out. 4 of those were civil emergencies, 4 amber alerts, and 230 tornado warnings. So that kind of tells you in Ontario that we really do need to be prepared. Across Canada, the alert system was used 855 times. So it's there, it's working. We're just fortunate we don't have it too often.
Thank you, Councillor Zimmerman. Deputy Mayor Anderson.
I don't really have a whole lot other than it's nice weather now. We're starting to think about getting flowers and things out. And in line with that, there is an opportunity for us to contribute to the baskets that Paul Judge and TLC are in charge of decorating our main streets with. So have a look at that if you're interested in contributing. It helps contribute to the costs of them, but they certainly transform our downtown during our summer months. So something to think about, and look forward to the Garden Festival at the beginning of June.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott.
Yes, I want to talk about the Ocean Conference too. I think there were about 300 people attended the conference. It's small, but everything's held in one banquet room. Topics were great. Trump's tariffs were one of them, AMO policies, Ontario wastewater, just really good topics for our communities other sides, and was well attended. This was probably one of the largest that we've had for that. As Councillor Dirksen said, it's a good opportunity for councillors to go and interact with different people, and you get to meet several different people. It's very, very community oriented, very cozy, and very comfortable. Another thing I did watch the last council meeting, and I wasn't there. You probably guys didn't know that I was at a hockey game.
No. Yeah, we did.
Thank you very much for presenting that for me, Councillor Gunson. And
No problem.
my grandson does play for the 81s. I wanted to announce so that they did very well in the Allen Cup. These are the best teams in men's senior hockey club, meaning men's hockey, and they would probably vary from 40 years old down to 20 years old. We were a very, very young club. We're rated AA. We maybe had 2 guys that had played some kind of pro hockey. They had some of the teams, the one team that we met that beat us in the final had every hockey player on their team had played pro. 3 of them had played in the NHL. So we were up against some pretty big talent. We lost to them. We beat them once, if you can imagine. Got to a semifinal. So the 81s now are rated number 3 in Canada. So we can be very proud of that. I'm very proud of the presentation. And the fans that came from the town of Minto, anywhere between 300 to 400 people would be there. And we out-cheered the other club, and we actually got acknowledged for what great fans we had and what a great community we had. Put our town on the map. I'm very proud of them, even though I keep bringing it up. And hopefully next year we have as good a year.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. Councillor Potnovitz.
Just one thing, I guess, the Ontario Building Association declares May as Building Safety Month. Maybe Terry can expand on that a bit more. I believe I'm not sure if they have something in particular they're focusing on this month.
Yes, so what the focus this year is the 50th anniversary of a building code. So the Ontario Building Code's been around for 50 years. It's transitioned over the time from probably maybe 3/4 of an inch thick to about 6. So it has got a little bit more complicated. So that's the focus of Building Safety Month, as well as the enhancements to the building code. So energy efficiency, health and safety, accessibility, that stuff. So the Ontario Building Officials Association have developed 4 posters, one for each week in May, which I have circulated to our staff for promotion on our social media. So.
Thank you. Thanks, Terry. Councillor Gunson.
Maybe something quick, just with Khalees and her team. And so this past weekend, and when did it start? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday? The live fire trailer was in Drayton, just outside of Drayton. And I was able to attend the one day, and it's very, it's great training and realistic. And it's, I think we're lucky to get that trailer to train with. And there's not many fire departments get that to come. So I believe it was well received, and there's lots of a good turnout. And yeah, it's kudos to the group for getting it to the 3 stations, or the 3 departments, I guess. What's it? The Tri-Fire Services. Sound like a big city now.
We are a big city. Thank you, Councillor Gunson. I've got a couple of items. Just wanted to comment on the OSIM situation as well. And on the board of OSIM is Minto's representative is Councillor Ron Elliott. And I know how much you're involved, Ron, with that. And I know that they count on all of your experience over the last number of years. And thank you for being a part of that and representing us well. I know when you were up speaking, you had to confirm a couple of times where Minto was. And somebody off the floor, not sure if they were being smart, but they asked you the second time, where'd you say Minto is? So that was good. So thank you for being a part of that. A couple other items. The mayor's breakfast was a couple of Fridays ago, April 25th. Again, I'd just like to extend our thanks to our staff and our business community and our presenters for coming out and making it so educational for everyone. And I know that our staff, every one of our department heads were there presenting what's going on in their department. So thank you for that. And I know that we talked about something about the Minto Awards Night with the fire service, April 26th. It was very well attended as well. Very interesting, the number of awards that were given out. We had a 50-year award for volunteer fire service in town of Minto, a 40-year award, a 30-year award. Pretty amazing. And we had, it was made mention that we had 3 generations in our fire service right now. So not totally. Grandpa has retired. He retired a couple of years ago, but our chief, Chris, and his 2 boys are all 3 of those guys are part of our fire service. So, I mean, all the longevity in our people. I did make a comment that night in reference to a number of years ago, you'd look out onto the crowd and there's a lot of white-haired people like myself. It's amazing the number of younger folks like you, please, that are in the fire service that aren't gray-haired people. And so that just says a lot for our service, being able to bring those young guys and gals out. So thank you very much. The volunteer dinner on Tuesday, April 29th was another wonderful event in our community. A couple hundred people there, and our volunteers are definitely the strength. I was at a 100-year birthday on Saturday. Margaret Heinmiller from Palmerston, 100 years. She's a veteran of Second World War, and she is extremely full of education. She's worked sharp for a 100-year-old person. She lives at home in her own house. Amazing. The 35th Hairston Food Bank anniversary was on Saturday. And the last thing I'm gonna comment on, May 10th, which is that this Saturday? In all the libraries in Wellington County, there's going to be a bunch of trees to give away. From the green legacy of the county of Wellington, so. And I know that they're seedlings, they're this high. We had 100 to give out at the Mayor's Breakfast from our Green Legacy program in Wellington County. So if you know anyone that needs a few trees, we got 3 sites in Minto that there's going to be 300 trees at each one. So thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, if there's no other announcements, moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, the Committee of the Whole convenes in regular council. All in favor of the motion? Carried, thank you. Any notices of motion? Nothing under that heading. We're moving along to the next item, which is moved by Councillor Potnovich, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson. The Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Bylaws. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that bylaw 2025-011 be read a third time and passed in open council and seal the corporation. That's drain 121. 112.
Yes, 1, 2.
Sorry.
1, 2, 1.
121. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
All in favor of the motion? It's carried. Thank you. Did I say 121?
No, I said it.
Okay.
We're all good.
Moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that bylaw 2025-022 and 2025-023 be read a first, second, and third time, passed in open council and sealed to seal the corporation. This is appointment of deputy clerk and appointment of bylaw enforcement officer. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Confirmatory bylaws moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson. Bylaw 2025-024 to confirm actions of the Council of Corporation of the Town of Minto respecting a meeting held May 6th, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time, passed in open council, sealed to seal the corporation. All in favor of that motion? It's carried. Thank you. Adjournment moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Potnovich, that the Council of Town of Minto adjourns to meet again, call the mayor. All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you very much for a very productive meeting.